All right, this morning we're going to turn to Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2, verses 31 through 45. And I want to talk about the New World Order this morning and what should a Christian do about it. And just begin by saying that a lot of people, and I include myself in this, I used to believe this way, that the rapture is going to happen, and in the ensuing chaos there will be a one world government created, and that's when it will be created. Well, not true. It's actually they've been preparing for this thing for hundreds of years, and the devil has always sought to have a one world government, and there have been 4 of these one world governments before now, and there's a 5th one coming. And it's spoken of here in Daniel chapter 2. Here you have King Nebuchadnezzar. He has a dream, and nobody can interpret it. But Daniel comes along, and he does interpret it. So I'm going to read through these verses pretty quickly here. Verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Now, the king there, King Nebuchadnezzar, was the first leader of the very first New World Order, the very first one world government. But who set him up? God. God's the one that gave him the power. He didn't get it on his own strength, his own wealth, his own intelligence. No, God set him up. Okay, verse 38. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So you have the Babylonian Empire being the first kingdom. Verse 39. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Okay, now what was the breast and arms of silver? Well, that was the Persian government, which of course came after Nebuchadnezzar. And what about the brass? Was the Greek, the Greece, Alexander the Great and everything. He was the third one, the brass, the belly and thigh of brass. Okay, and where are we at here? Verse 40. And the 4th kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. Now what was the iron? Rome. The iron legions of Rome. Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And let me just stop there for 1 second. Who was the iron kingdom? Rome. Now, Rome, the Roman Empire, didn't fully collapse. We still have a entity here in this earth today calling themselves Roman. Well, what is it? Roman Catholic Church, yeah. So the Roman the Roman Empire, they were starting to fall apart, and they saw this great power arising in the world, which was Christianity. And so the Roman Empire said, we can't continue as an empire, as a political power, but we can continue as a church. And so the pagan Romans came and they took the names of Christianity, Jesus and Mary and many of the saints, Peter, Paul, and they replaced their pagan deities with Christian type names. But the Roman Empire, or the Roman Catholic Church, is just the Roman Empire, is all it is. So the iron is still there. And this New World Order that's going to come, and it's already being developed, is going to have the Catholic Church is definitely part of it. And you see all these big guys, and I'm going to be playing a clip here in just a little bit, where the Pope actually is calling for the New World Order. And you see all these political powers, and they're all going over to visit with the Pope. Isn't that kind of interesting? You know, but if you understand what's coming, that's the Catholic Church is definitely part of it, and the Jesuits and everything else. So let's continue on here. Verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Of course, you can listen to the angel's message to get more on that. Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. I guess that would be premillennial coming of Jesus Christ, wouldn't it? Yeah. Which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. When Jesus Christ sets up his kingdom at the end of the tribulation, it's never going to fall again. The devil will rise against it at the end of the 1,000 years, but it isn't going to work. He'll be destroyed. Okay, verse 45, For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. You know, I heard a good statement the one time. A preacher said, prophecy in the Bible is pre-recorded history. And that's the truth. Oh, but we can't be sure that this New World Order is going to happen. Maybe we can stop it. Maybe there's something we can do. No, it's going to happen. There's going to be an Antichrist. There's going to be a New World Order. The Vatican is going to be in control, partly of the thing. It's going to happen. So what should a Christian do about it? Well, we're going to get into that. But now turn over to, Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. All right, Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Daniel, it probably seemed pretty confusing to him about all of this. I mean, he's there in the first world government. He's there in the Babylonian government. And for him to see out into the future and see what's happening right now would have been pretty confusing for a guy back then. And the Lord's saying, well, seal up the book. You're not going to understand it until people are running. Many shall run to and fro. Now you think about that prophecy right there. Has that come to pass? Yeah. I mean, how many of us here this morning, if you had to walk here today, you'd have to leave pretty early or take a horse or something, and, that would have been something else. And what about knowledge being increased? This sermon's going to be on sermon audio, and people all over the world can hear it. Knowledge definitely has increased. So we are in that time. And of course the book is being unsealed right now. It is being revealed. Now turn back to Revelation 13. There are a lot of Christians that don't want to believe in the New World Order. That's conspiracy stuff. I don't want to hear about that. Well, I'm sorry, but the Bible teaches it. And if you deny that there is a one world government forming, you have some real problems with the Scripture. Revelation 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. There's your fifth kingdom. And, of course, we're not going to read the whole chapter, but it's talking about the beast and the false prophet. Okay, I believe the false prophet will be the Pope. Maybe not Benedict, but it'll be one of them. And the beast, I believe, is going to be the man of sin, the son of perdition, the Antichrist. Okay? And I believe he'll be a perfect counterfeit of Jesus Christ. So you'll have this Christ guy, and then you'll have the Pope basically there promoting him. I think that's the two characters there in Revelation 13. But there is a one world government coming. Okay? It's not a conspiracy theory. And years ago, you had to really, Adolf Hitler was calling for a new world order, and then George Bush Sr. did on September the 11th of 91, I think it was, 1991. And there were different people that have called for this thing. But now since Obama was elected, they're just going nuts with it. I mean, they're calling for it all the time. So I want to play a couple of recordings for those who are not